All right, welcome to another episode of Fight Outnumbered and Win. In this episode, I'm going to give you probably your best and simplest explanation of difference between strategy, operational warfare, and tactics. Now, why am I holding a tomahawk? Because let me tell you what a tomahawk's about. Tomahawk is the only weapon that is American authentic. Every other weapon you think of is brought to America, is imported, but not the tomahawk. This pitch was given to me at 5th RTB when I was there a long time ago. And I remember the battalion commander goes, let me tell you about the tomahawk. Been my favorite weapon ever since. I own several of them. So therefore, again, as I promised not to make this pitch boring, would do it with the addition of a tomahawk, because nothing is ever boring with a tomahawk. So I got this from Jim Greer. So this is his construct. So this was his explained to me the difference between strategy, operational warfare, and tactics. Why does that matter? Well, it matters because in order to wage maneuver warfare properly, you have to understand this construct and how it all fits together. All right, so first, at the top, you have strategy. What is strategy? Strategy is simply the interplay between policy. Policy is what politicians do. Policy will be, we are going to support Ukraine. Politicians do that. We just had an election. We have a new politician who's going to make policy. He will then talk to the Secretary of Defense, and they will determine a strategy. A strategy is basically how you're going to accomplish that policy. Now, like as you know, if you don't have a resource, then it's just a fairy tale. So you have resources, and this is what to accomplish the policy with. Now, kind of the white belt way of thinking about it, ends, ways, and means is kind of in this construct. But a more black belt way of thinking of it is, you show me your budget, and I'll tell you what your strategy is. So everything's resource driven. For example, if you're a country that hasn't a lot, well, it doesn't matter what your policy is. It's going to dictate how you're going to accomplish it. So you show me your budget, I'll tell you what your strategy is. Now, once they set how they're going to accomplish this, then it goes into the realm of operational warfare. What's the best about this? This is the realm of how wars are won. So when you say, hey, how do you win wars? Well, it's not your strategy. It is your employment of operational warfare. Well, what is that? That is campaigns, and that is major operations. The fact of campaigning. Good example for all you football fans out there. At the beginning of the year, the owner gets together and sets the policy. We're going to have a strategy. We're going to win the Super Bowl this year. We're going to have to make sure enough money. Our strategy is going to tie to, hey, how can we do it? We need to have good draft. We need to have good players, good stadium, good fan base, on and on and on. Well, that's just fascinating. What it really comes down to, how do you win the Super Bowl? You come down it through the campaign. It is the stringing together of games and players throughout the season, wins and losses, in order to get you to the playoffs, change it up, and get to the Super Bowl. Just like a political campaign, just like a football campaign, this is where wars are won. It is putting tactics and arranging tactics, that's what campaigning is, to accomplish the strategy. Now, operational warfare involves art, because we talked about in our last video. War is complicated, it is unpredictable, and it's a human endeavor, but there's also science to it. You can only have so many planes, tanks, soldiers, and so forth. So it is the combination of art and science. Okay, then at the lower echelon, you have tactics. Tactics is the arrangement of combat forces to create mismatches. Just like any football player will do, they'll put their fastest wide receiver out there against maybe a less fast defensive back or so on. It's the arrangement of combat forces to maximize their potential. In tactics, you hit battles, or the tactical realm war, you have battles, engagements, and military activities. Okay, so how this all matters. In attrition warfare, what attritionists will do, they will find the enemy and go right at them and try to destroy them. Wage lots of battles and have big fights with the idea is, if I destroy the enemy through battles, that will then lead to a better campaign to meet our strategy. Okay, that's maneuver warfare is different. Maneuver warfare maneuverists will say, every time you wage a battle, you burn up resources, you kill soldiers, you take away time. So actually maneuverists will try to, it is the avoidance of battles to get to the enemy's rear area. It's a campaign. It is trying to not fight. It's knowing when to fight and not, and try to bypass battles and do a campaign to get to what matters most, which is usually in the enemy's rear area. Now, for a long time, operational warfare was developed by the Soviets because, as I heard one key general say from Estonia, they suck at tactics. For a long time, maneuver warfare was thought as only in the realm of operational warfare. But that's not true. Maneuver warfare is a mindset. It is outmaneuvering your opponent in battles, when to fight and when not to fight, and then it's outmaneuvering your opponent in campaigns, and it's outmaneuvering your enemy in strategy. So, in summary, in order to understand maneuver warfare, you understand how strategy, operational warfare, and the tactical realm, they all interplay. Tactics are about battles, operational warfare about campaigns, and strategy is the interplay between policy, resources, and how to accomplish it. What I want you to take from this is, in maneuver warfare, applies to all three levels of war. The difference is where attritionists will want to fight battles, maneuverists will try to avoid battles and bypass them to get to the enemy's rear area, to hit them where it hurts most.
I think a superb illustration of this is the Korean War. So June 1950, North Korea invades across the demilitarized zone, or correction, the boundary between North and South Korea, and it totally puts South Korea onto its heels. For the United States, we have to think about the strategic level. For us, the strategic level is how do we react to this? What are our goals as a nation in the Korean War? Are we simply trying to restore the parallel between the two and the border? Or are we trying to unify Korea all the way up to the border with Russia or the Soviet Union at the time in China? That was our strategy level, or strategic level. At the operational level, how do we execute the campaigns to win? Is our campaign simply going to be trying to take the attritionist approach and win inside the Pusan perimeter by out-bloodying the enemy, destroying division after division after division as more and more and more troops keep coming? Or do we take the maneuverist approach and conduct Operation Chromite and conduct an amphibious envelopment on the western side of Korea? At the tactical level, for us, in the Korean War, we absolutely adopted a maneuverist approach at the beginning. At the very beginning, shortly after we had achieved that enormous success at the Incheon landings, we bypassed Korean element, North Korean element after element after element after element, continually pushing onto the North Korean border.
And later on, though, at the end of the battle, we adopted more of a attritionist fight because we had overwhelming firepower, overwhelming numbers. All right, so in summary, when you think of maneuver warfare, think of a trap. So this here is my foot trap. All right, you set it. And this is maneuver warfare in a nutshell. Okay, so maneuver warfare, unlike seeking battles, you set a trap. A trap is, just like it says, it lures the enemy in with baits, and then comes the enemy around, and through certain baits, you trap him. Now, once you have the enemy in your trap, at first they panic. They will lose all sense of what they're supposed to do. They will expend all their efforts, and panic sets in. You see an animal in a foot trap, there's nothing like it. They panic, they run, and they realize they can't get away, and they're waiting for the inevitable. That is operational shock. That is what maneuver warfare is about. And then as they realize they can't get away, at some point they become exhausted, lay down, and just accept their bitter fate. So when you think of maneuver warfare, the difference, it's setting the trap. Once they're trapped, seeing how they panic, and then once they still can't get away, they completely become exhausted, they quit, and they accept their fate, and that's when they become POWs. That is when you win. So unlike killing your way to a victory, think about trapping. With that, thanks for watching. Fight Outnumbered and Win, and stand by for our next episode, The Culture of Maneuver Warfare. All right, thanks.